If you've been on Mystic Avenue recently, you may have noticed some attractive blue and yellow buildings completed by a green roof and recreational space. These are the first two phases of St. Polycarp Village housing development. St. Polycarp Village is a development of 84 affordable housing units started by Somerville Community Corporation in 2006. Somerville Community Corporation, or SCC, is a community development corporation that was founded in 1969. SCC develops affordable housing throughout the city with the goal of allowing people of all backgrounds and income levels to thrive in Somerville. They have developed more than 150 affordable apartments and are always conscious of the demand for affordability. The first phase of St. Polycarp is comprised of 24 apartments, retail, and a green roof. It was completed in 2009, and the second phase was completed in 2012. The project has turned this previously underutilized area into a vibrant community with commercial space, affordable apartments, a church, a transitional home for single mothers and their children, a GED program, and open space. Yesterday, SCC broke ground on the third phase of St. Polycarp Village, located on the former site of the St. Polycarp School.
Today, we have a few former students from St. Polycarp School. Welcome, Ursula.
Thank you.
Welcome, Carol.
Thank you.
Welcome, Camille.
Thank you.
And of course, we have a member from SCC. Ladies, this is a very, very exciting time. Tell us about this time capsule, about the development, how it all happened with the groundbreaking. I know you have so much to share with us.
And we do. And it was very exciting, much beyond our expectations. We did not have any expectation of what took place yesterday. All we knew was, and correct me if I'm wrong, we wrote our names on a piece of paper, and that was it. We didn't know the word time capsule. We knew the word cornerstone. And that's what we thought we were going to see yesterday. So we were just as surprised as anybody to see that capsule. We knew our names would be in the cornerstone, but I, for one, didn't imagine it to be like that.
No, neither did I. I was very surprised at the items that were in there. And, you know, shocked. Not shocked, but to see the dates. You know, you don't realize it then.
And the dates
And
are
the date was May 12, 1951.
1951. You were young girls back
Third
then.
grade.
We were in the third grade.
Third grade.
Yes.
And if you don't mind me saying, and I want our TV audience to know this, you guys are all 70 and you look amazing.
Thanks.
So you're doing something right. Maybe it was your Catholic upbringing.
It was our Catholic
It was
upbringing.
drinking the water in Somerville.
Maybe it was the holy water that we blessed ourselves
Holy
with.
water. But as I understand, Camille, you have a very exciting story to tell us how you came across what happened when you were driving down the road one day and what you saw and how this all came about because of you.
I saw these signs on the building of the school. There was a construction company and a number of others. So I took all their telephone numbers down, started calling, because I knew that we had something in the cornerstone. Again, we didn't know it was a capsule at that time. We just knew there was something in the cornerstone.
But
I
you,
wanted it saved.
Yes, but you saw there was you knew something was going to be
Yes.
constructed there. That's why when you saw this, you said, wait a second.
That's right.
They're going to be breaking ground, right? And so you
Yes.
took down the numbers, and what happened?
Started calling around, and they all directed me over to the SCC. And I talked with them for almost 2 years to keep track of the school, to see exactly when it was going to be torn down, and I informed them that there was a cornerstone with something in it. And they got very excited. They jumped right on board with us.
Who is they?
Well, the first young lady I spoke to was Courtney, and then we kept in touch. Every 6 months we called just to make sure. Then recently, in December, I went by the school and I saw that the windows had been removed and there was wood on the windows, so I knew it was close. So I called again and got in touch with Yara. And that's from there, it just snowballed.
It's almost like they were treating it like sacred ground.
Yes.
which is just amazing. So Ursula,
Yes.
we're going to talk about memories. We're going to go back. Tell us what it was like going to school at St. Polycarps. What was it like back 1951, you said? Yes. 1951. Now, you mentioned something about going to school in the rectory. I mean, that kind of blows my mind.
We started off in the rectory because they were building. And actually, the side street was Butler Drive, and that was our playground where we had recess.
Well, how did you
Okay.
find out that there was a school in the rectory? Was it through the church? I mean, yes?
Because we were parishioners there at St. Polycarp, and the school was being built. And our parents just signed us up. And that's where we went. It was a neighborhood school, too, because we just lived right across the street. And we had to cross Mystic Avenue. They had the patrolman there. And I can't remember his name. It was mentioned yesterday.
Officer Kelly.
Officer Kelly. And he was so cheerful. He was just such a big part of our lives. And he was there in the morning. He was there when we went home at noontime for lunch. And we came back. And then we went back again to school.
And how many children were in school at that time
In
when you
our
were going to the rectory? That just, again,
There was
just-
three classrooms, if I remember correctly. And the class sizes were pretty good, maybe 60?
60, I would say.
60 to a class in the rectory?
One nun
Look
per
at this,
class.
60.
Can you hold that picture up and hold it still for the camera to zoom in? And this is so. Was there Ursula? Was there enough room for everyone
Yes.
in the rectory? So this was a big rectory.
Yes, actually it was in the basement of the rectory.
And you know what I'm noticing, which is kind of unusual? All the boys have ties on. Can you imagine? It was like going to a prep school. So, tell us about the time capsule. Carol,
Yes.
share your memories of the time capsule. Take us back. It's 1956? You're in the third grade?
No, 1956, we were in the 8th grade. We graduated in
excuse
the 8th. That's okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we graduated. So it was 1951, 50 and 51 that we went to school in the rectory, okay? Then we went to the 4th grade in the new school. So that is when we all wrote our names. We were requested to write our names on a simple piece of paper. In the nun, and her name was Sister Georgina Therese. She was the superior of that school, but she was also our teacher. So we wrote our names. She put them in an envelope, and we were told that they were going to go in the cornerstone of the new school when the building was finished. We had to wait for the building to be finished because construction was slow. People in the parish actually bought bricks to build this school, and we remember that.
Did they have their names
They-
carved in the bricks?
No, they donated. I'm going to say it was a penny a brick, but it could have been $1. But I think it honestly was a penny because think, way back then, $1 would be a lot for somebody to buy 1 brick or 5 bricks. People didn't have that kind of money to do that. So finally, the bricks were bought and the building was constructed, and the cornerstone was there. The Archbishop of Boston was there. He came. We had a ceremony.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing.
Was there a band there? and-
Amazing. There were so many people. There were so many dignitaries from the city, from the Archdiocese of Boston. It was amazing. It
Do we
really
have
was.
any photographs from that day?
From that day, unfortunately, we do not have. We do not
Right,
have.
because the cornerstone was put into the
Exactly.
ground.
And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
so happy to see that today. Yesterday, there it was, that cornerstone. I don't know what they're going to do with that cornerstone, but honestly, it's amazing.
Well, maybe the mayor will do something to keep it, you know, like some kind of memorial.
Maybe. Somebody mentioned the Historical Society, Somerville Historical
What
Society.
a great idea. That's where Louise comes in, right?
No, I'm from SCC, but
Okay, well,
Somerville
we're
Community Corporation.
going to get to you in a second.
Okay.
So, this is very exciting now. So it's 1956. What was the day like? Was it a sunny day?
Oh my goodness. I was 9 or 10. I cannot remember. I cannot remember that part of it. But it was very exciting. And this nun, she was
Can you hold the picture
responsible.
up?
Sure.
Camille, would you hold that picture up while Carol's talking?
She was
Hold it still.
responsible for our education, but for our background. She was
Right.
wonderful. She treated us like we were her children. And she conducted herself in that school in such a manner that every child loved her as a principal or a teacher.
Isn't that beautiful? Now,
Beautiful.
She's still around?
She's not. Unfortunately, I believe she passed away a couple of years ago. But considering a couple of years ago, if we're 70, that was pretty good.
Yeah, she probably lived into her 90s.
She was. She was into her 90s. She was wonderful.
Now, when you signed your name on the paper, did you write anything down beside your name, or the principal or your teacher, just Sister Giordano? Georgiana.
Sister Georgina Therese was her
I'm
name.
getting confused with your name.
My name, my name is Giordano. You're right.
Right.
Well, these are the envelopes, if I may.
Yes, please.
If I may.
If you would hold that up and show us.
And her name is actually on here. What do you want me to
Take the paper clip off, of course.
Her name is on here, and our names are inside.
Can you pull what's
I-
in
and
there?
I-
Is
yes.
that okay?
Oh,
It's not going to fall apart or
It's
anything.
not going to fall apart.
Now, was this like in
There's
an
more name.
airtight? This container here, was it airtight?
Yes. Do you see how
I don't
they
wanna-
had to
I don't
bang
wanna
it?
move it.
They had to get a chisel, a crowbar.
Oh, this is exciting.
A hammer.
Oh my goodness.
And the construction man, or the demolition man for the school now, for the new project, had to come and rescue because the men could not open that by themselves.
You're kidding. A man couldn't open this time
Two men
capsule?
couldn't.
Wow,
Two men.
this is very sad. So, were you laughing?
No, we were just so excited to see it all take place.
Can
so
you
we didn't laugh.
Can you hold up your signature? I would love all of you girls to hold up your signatures. You're all in the
Okay.
same envelope.
Camille, see if I'm in that envelope because I'm. Oh, I only wish that
Mine's not in there.
I only wish that we had more time
To go
to
through.
get more students to attend. This is mine.
Can you hold it up?
This is
Oh, yeah.
mine.
Okay. So we're just gonna zoom in on that. Carol.
Carol Lanzoni.
Lanzoni, and her name is Giordano.
Yes.
Okay.
And the funniest thing about this, if I may say this, I had two brothers that attended as well. One was behind me. We were only 18 months difference in age. He wrote his name as well. And when I found it yesterday, he was a lefty. So he kind of went off of the paper, you know, when you're little, you know.
Sure.
So whoever the nun was, she wrote his name underneath.
Isn't that sweet? Well, you know,
Very.
we're going to show yesterday the groundbreaking ceremony. We have a clip of that. So why don't we check that out?
Okay.
And I guess we're ready to see that.
Okay. Put those back in there.
Okay. So tell us what's going on here, ladies.
Okay.
Camille, can you fill us in? Union Square
That's
Family
Union
Health?
Square.
Okay.
They're trying to show where Somerville Community Corporation has
Oh, the
their offices.
corporation.
Oh, okay. Well, Louise.
So that's what that was.
Step right in.
Oh, there we are. That's the church. That's St. Polycarps Church.
Oh, yeah. And what street is that on?
That's on Temple Street.
Okay, good. And what's happening here?
And that was the site of the school. That was right there is the site of St. Polycarp School.
And what's happening, and what are they gonna be building here, Louise?
They're going to be building units of affordable housing for people from Somerville, mostly from Somerville. About 70% of them will be from Somerville.
And I see that it says St. Polycarps Village. They're keeping that name up there.
Yes. There are 3 sections to it. There's 1, 2, and 3 is being built right now.
Okay. And what are we looking at now?
There's the cornerstone.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
There's the cornerstone.
That is quite a piece of granite there. Oh, there's our
There's
sister.
the picture.
Yeah, sister
Georgina Therese.
And
that-
there's,
Class picture, our graduating class picture.
that's your class picture from
5th grade?
1956.
56, yes.
I love the hairstyles.
And that's our 5th grade class.
Excellent.
And that's another class.
1959.
1959.
Look at that
But there's the
cornerstone.
cornerstone.
So this box was inside there?
Inside,
Yes, right in the top
Right,
of
in
the
top, in
cornerstone.
the center of
Wow.
They
it. Where do you
hammer-
see them? It's amazing.
There's a lot of people there yesterday.
That's the groundbreaking outside.
Oh my
The mayor's there.
The mayor.
Oh,
Yes, he is.
Carol, there you are with a
With
shovel.
a shovel.
Good for you.
Imagine.
Hey, you're styling.
I asked them to put my name on a list.
Affordable housing construction at the new St. Polycarp Village. And as an added bonus, we also have a number of students I'm looking at who were at the St. Polycarp School, which is no longer there, sadly, in the 1950s, but from which we've been able to preserve a time capsule that we will address later on in the proceedings. My name is Danny LeBlanc. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Somerville Community Corporation, a position I've had the pleasure of holding for the last dozen years. This is a very exciting day for me for a number of reasons. One, although my children did not graduate from St. Polycarp, two of them were actually in the last class that had classes in St. Polycarp when St. Anne's had the fire a few years back. So I did have 2 children here during that time. And the other thing is that when St. Polycarp was closed and St. Anne's absorbed St. Polycarp, I was in the finance committee at the time. And some of us fought very, very hard to have this property sold to the Somerville Community Corp. For 2 reasons. One, at the time, the Archdiocese wanted to see many of these properties go into affordable housing. And 2, just looking at the area, to have a project developed that would afford some new rental units to folks that need it would be better than a commercial project, because we know what happens with commercial developments on Mystic Ave. They don't just seem to go anywhere. So this was a perfect fit. So to be the alderman here at this present time of the last phase of this wonderful community that's happening down here, and being part at one time of not really knowing that I was going to be here speaking to you all and congratulating Danny LeBlanc and the Somerville Community Corp.
Thank you, Danny. Well, good afternoon. So glad we didn't have any snow accumulation of any significant proportion today. I know you are too. And we hope we get to spring relatively quickly. I want to thank a whole bunch of people. And we always love coming to groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings. Today's event has some special significance because it ties our past with our present and our future, and how really what is so special about Somerville, the values that sew us together. So just please indulge me for 1 second. I do want to thank the Ward 4 Alderman Tony LaFuente. He's been a proponent of building community and building neighborhoods, and this project was a priority for him, and working with the SCC administration, I think, and for his leadership. Our state delegation, Representative Provost is here, and Representative Shortino, who fight every day and advocate for working families and communities in their jobs up at Beacon Hill. The governor, who for the past several years has stepped up and really promoted the values not only of our community but of our state, building neighborhoods, creating communities where people can live, work, play, and raise a family. Congressman Capuano, I know he's not here, but I see John Lenachek, his chief of staff in the back. John, thank the congressman for us. As a mayor and as a congressman, he's been a champion fighting for funding and making affordable housing and giving people homes a priority in Washington and when he was mayor. We need our partners in the community, the SCC and our other agencies who work on anti-poverty, social welfare, to sew all the systems together that promote life in a way that's very special for all of us in the city. So Danny, thank you for what you're doing, because the past several years, look at the projects the SCC's helped roll out. Give them a round of applause. Great job.
This is really exciting. A couple of years ago, one of the former students of the St. Polycarps School tracked us down. She had seen built like a big banner with the Delbrook Construction phone number, and she called and she did her research and she found Courtney at SCC and said, there's a time capsule in that building. Before you take it down, you gotta rescue the time capsule. So it was great to have that tip off. We've been contacted by other students, and we've known for a couple of years, in the last couple of months, we've really put the word out. This is gonna happen. We're gonna extract the time capsule, and thankfully they were able to, before the demolition, they were able to very carefully extract that time capsule. And meanwhile, the students have been hard at work through their networks, contacting each other, reminiscing, sharing those stories over the phone with each other, with us. It's been a really very rich several weeks to hear about some of these stories. All right, well, I think the time has come. So who would like to do the honors of prying open the time capsule?
Union wages?
Come on.
Well, it's been in here for 63 years.
Someone help?
All in the reinforcement.
Call? Yeah.
Copper, this is salvageable. I don't think you guys should open this up.
Probably a Bible.
It's like in the Vatican, they seal things up.
Dave, you get that?
Greg, you watching this? Go the other way.
We have another time capsule. This is Dave's old lunchbox. Something might be in here.
The only Italians I know get together can't open up a safe.
Plenty of stuff in here. Check it out.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine that it took them that long to open up that box? Ursula, was this what you expected with the time capsule?
Oh, I wasn't even sure what was going to happen, but all I could think of was those nuns must be laughing in heaven watching this happen, because we with just with our breath was taken away by what was happening. But it was fabulous. Everybody, there was so much enthusiasm. You know, you could just hear the people cheering everybody on.
The element of surprise. Camille, well, what was it like for you?
It was. I was very anxious to see what was inside. It was surprising, well, the pilot, but I liked the letter to welcome the nuns.
Can
to
you hold up
open the
that letter?
school.
Carol, can you hold up the letter? while
Oh,
you're
sure.
Talking? Yeah.
And it just,
Someone's microphone came off.
that's right. And it just described how they went to pick up the nuns. That letter there is the letter that was sent home to the parents for the first day of school, and the rules of the school.
Oh, what were the rules of the school?
I haven't read the whole thing.
Oh my goodness. You had to wear uniforms?
We did not. The girls did not. The
Oh.
boys had to wear the white shirts and the ties, but
Well,
the
what
girls,
did the girls wear?
we just wore dresses or skirts,
Okay,
but we did not have uniforms at that time.
okay. Now, Carol, you could put that down. This is good. How has the neighborhood changed since this has all happened?
Well, I go there occasionally to do shopping because
Sure.
Somerville is still my route no matter what, no matter what. I feel like it's pretty well intact, especially surrounding the school area. I feel like it is. The houses look so much closer together to me now than they did when I was younger. Many more cars now.
Oh, right.
Many, many more cars. Much more traffic. And as Ursula said, Butler Drive was a private way. It was closed off, and that was our playground for the time being until that school was built. So at recess time, that's where we all played, in Butler Drive. It was closed off to the public, and that was our schoolyard.
How many children went to St. Polycarps when you were going there? Was it a big school?
It then became, after the 3rd grade, we went into the 4th grade, and then it became officially 8 grades. Grades 1 through 8. And most classes had at least 50 students, I would say, at least 50 students.
That's like huge by today's standards.
Huge. By today's standards, not one teacher, none. We had 2 lay teachers, the rest were all nuns. Nobody ever heard a nun complain that she had too much work or too many students.
Because that's what she accepted.
It's
That was
what she accepted.
Right.
And from my perspective, every one of us were made to feel we were all capable of learning the same. And in the neighborhood, we would go home at lunchtime. We'd have our lunch, we'd go back again. As Ursula said, we had crossing guards, and Officer Kelly would be there to direct them. And students in the 8th grade or the 7th grade were given those official duties to care for the other students.
right. And Camille, the future of the neighborhood, where do you see it going?
Well, I see, with the new buildings, and, I think it'd be a nice, a good place for people to live. When we were there, it was a wonderful city. I loved Somerville, I always did.
It's been the All-America City
That's right.
twice.
It was. I love Somerville. Always talk about it. Talk about our memories. And a lot of people you see, and the world gets smaller and smaller, and there's a lot of people from Somerville out there.
And Somerville is still expanding. As a matter of fact, right now here we have Louise Marks from SCC, and you're going to talk to us about the affordable housing that's happening. I mean, Somerville just keeps getting better and better. We have
does.
so much here in the city.
It's a great city. I just moved here in 2004, and I got to know SCC when I read in the journal that they were building St. Polycarps. And I retired 2 years ago, and before that I worked for the Department of Mental Health, and I developed housing for mentally ill adults.
Wow.
And I saw, the wonderful things that happened when people Some of them who were formerly homeless became housed. You know, their confidence increased. They became members of a community, and they were able to really become more independent.
You give people hope.
That's right.
That's what SCC offers people
Right,
hope.
it offers people hope. So now I don't work with mentally ill people, but I want to see that the families in Somerville who've lived here, some of them for generations, can stay here. Because, you know, all of this beautiful development that's making Somerville such a wonderful place to live is driving up the cost of the rents. It's driving up the cost of properties. And a lot of families can't stay here, like maybe your children and your grandchildren sometimes can't afford to stay in Somerville. And so SCC is very committed to making sure that that happens. So in addition to St. Polycarps Village, they have other properties, and the one that's new that's coming online, hopefully in the not too distant future, is the Boys and Girls Club. SCC owns the building now.
Oh,
and
so that's going to be part of the...
and this is going to, and it's going to be turned into affordable housing for families. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, and the thing that SCC does that I think is just so great is they involve the people who live around the properties in the development. Just this past weekend, we had a workshop where people could come and talk about what they wanted to see on the sidewalks, you know, what they wanted to see in the common space that's going to be for everybody.
And what kinds
the
of things?
people.
What kinds of
Oh,
things? that
people! Well, it was amazing. You know, one of the things that the young people, there were some people who were very young, and they wanted to see something that to kind of like replace the Boys and Girls Club. Now, of course, we can't do everything that everybody would like to have happen.
Can't please everybody.
No, but they had some great ideas, like there's going to be a plaza, and somebody wanted a rock climbing wall to be there for kids.
What a great
And,
idea.
you know,
yeah.
and a place for, and then they wanted, you know, an ice cream stand there. And so they had some really great ideas, and to make the sidewalk wider, because it's a very narrow sidewalk there, and there's going to be commercial development on the bottom floor. And we could have, you know, maybe a coffee shop there with some little tables out on the side on Washington Street.
And will the people who live in the development, will they also be the business owners? Will they have opportunities?
You know, they could, but not necessarily. It's
Sure.
whoever, you know, comes in with a proposal that's something that's good for the community. Like, we're not going to put a liquor store in there, I can tell you that.
No, we don't need another liquor store.
No. So that's what SCC does. I'm a member of SCC, so a lot of people are members, and you know, we do things as a group, as a community, and we ask for a lot of input.
And what does SCC stand for?
Okay, it stands for Somerville Community Corporation. And in addition to building affordable housing, we've done some other things around jobs for Somerville, trying to get people local first, like when we develop in Assembly Square, we're trying to get more jobs for people that, you know, live locally there.
What a great
Because
idea.
if you live locally, and, you know, and you can, if you work locally and live locally, that's the best way to keep
People
them
know you're going to
moving.
show up for your job.
That's
You're
right.
around the corner.
And they're
There's no
going to know how to
excuse.
get you.
Yeah, you can't say I got caught up in traffic because they can walk to work.
So some of the other things we do besides just building housing is, you know, there's been a lot of buildings that have been converted into condominiums. And when that happens, the people that live there are getting displaced because they're renters, you know? And so when they have to leave, one of the things we've done is negotiated with the city and with the landlords to make sure that people have enough time to find new housing, that they're not just pushed out with, you know, a few weeks or a few months' notice. And for
That's
elderly and
fantastic.
disabled, they get even more time. I don't know if you know the building that Well Foods is in Union Square. That's being converted into condominiums. And, you know, right now, it's a lot of low-income people are living there. And those people have to move, you know? And in addition to getting more time for them to find a new place and helping them find places, SCC is negotiating so that they'll get some of the moving costs covered. Because
So when's this all going to be built? And
Well-
how do people apply? And,
All right, well-
and who are the people that can get into this? What are
well,
the
70%
guidelines?
of the people are going to be from Somerville.
Wow.
So 70% of the units are set aside for people from Somerville. Now I'm talking about the Boys and Girls Club.
Sure.
SCC owns it right now, and it's going to go to the planning board sometime this spring for approval. And it's people who are 80% of median income, and I know everybody knows exactly what that is,
Yeah,
right?
what-
That
no,
dollar
no,
figure?
what
No, I know
is-
you don't.
Yeah, that's what,
No, I know you don't, but I have to look up on my cheat sheet here. So, two of the units back to St. Polycarps for a second. Two of the units are going to be for homeless families, and 3 of them are going to be for disabled people.
fantastic.
So these units are not for very, very low income people. They're for people who are working, and I'm trying to find my dollar figures here, and I'm having trouble. So, all right, I'm going to have to wing it.
Go ahead, wing
So,
it.
you know, let's say a family of 4, I think the maximum income for a family of 4 to get into one of these units is something like $56,000. That's not really, really low. That's the maximum for someone to apply.
You mean for 4 people earning that collectively with all of them?
Yes.
That's really not
Yeah.
a lot of,
It sounds like a lot of money, but
it
it's
really
not
isn't.
a lot of money.
Not for
No.
4 people.
Yeah.
No.
So, well, that's a husband and wife and 2 children.
Oh, and 2 children.
2 children,
Okay,
not
yeah, the
4
chil-
adults.
Yeah, the children.
No, no, that's a 2-income
I
family.
see, okay.
Okay. And then for one person, I think, believe it or not, it's something like $41,000 is the maximum rent. I mean, the maximum income that
sure.
somebody can have in order to move into one
Sure.
of these
And
places.
is there a lottery where you have to
There will be
draw-
a lottery, yes. People will get to apply, and there'll be a lottery, and I think there's 2 lotteries, one for the people from Somerville and one for people outside of Somerville. And also some of the units will be set aside for homeless families.
Now, who's covering all the costs for this
Well,
to be
it's
built?
they
Is that a-
discussed that yesterday. It's very complicated. Somerville Community Corporation gets a lot of money from the state and from the federal government. Mostly it's from the state, where they get what's called pre-development costs. You know, things like you have to, do site, you have to have the site looked at, make sure that it's not contaminated. You need attorneys, you have to have architects. All of this costs money before anybody moves in
Right.
and starts renting a unit. So, you need a lot of money up front, and that comes from the Department of Housing and Community Development. And there's this thing called low-income housing tax credits, which are investors buy them. And when they buy them, they get a break on their taxes. I think they said yesterday the Bank of New York Mellon bought the tax credits. And so that reduces their tax liability, but then the money that they use to buy those tax credits goes to SCC to build this housing. Wow. So it's very complicated formulas, and money comes from many, many different sources.
It's amazing that the money's there. How many units will there be?
Well,
for-
at St. Polycarps, there'll be a total of 84 when all 3 phases are done. And 2 phases have already been completed, and I think the 3rd phase has around 30 units in it.
And when will everything be completed? What is the date?
I'm not sure of when it's going to be completed. I think it's sometime next year.
Because there are a lot of units that are already done already, right now?
Right,
Because you
right,
see,
there are.
and so how many more are going up? I mean, how many more are already there? Are there already existing? And are
Well,
they all?
there's- Occupied?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, they're all occupied. Yep, and they have, SCC doesn't manage the units themselves. They contract with Wind Management to do what's called tenant selection, to
Excellent,
make sure,
yeah.
because people have to qualify. They have to prove
Sure.
what their incomes are and, what their status is as citizens. And, there's a lot of things that you have to do to qualify for these units. So Wind Management does all of that for SCC.
And what does SCC hope to accomplish?
Well,
with doing all of this.
Doing all of this, what we hope to accomplish is to make Somerville a place where it's a diverse, vibrant community where new people are welcome. It's not that the new folks aren't welcome, because I'm one of the newcomers. I've only lived here since 2004. I think that counts as a newcomer. But also so that the families who grew up here aren't displaced. And we don't want to have these families, once the Red Line came to Davis Square, we saw what happened. The rents in Davis Square went sky high. The property taxes went sky high. And then the schools, the decline in the schools, the Powder House School is closed due to lack of enrollment. you
Right.
know, a whole school. And it's that end of town where most of the, you know, gentrification, if I can call it that, happened. So we want to make sure that lots of people can stay in Somerville and they don't have to move further and further out.
And that's why we have affordable housing.
And that's why we
for
need
that-
affordable
for that-
housing.
For that reason alone.
The city, you know, did their comprehensive plan, which was called Summer Vision. Are you familiar with that?
No,
it
but
was-
you're going to tell us
All right,
about
well,
it.
it's a very comprehensive plan about the future of Somerville.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things in that plan is that the city wants to develop 6,000 units of housing, just housing in general, in the next 20 years. And they want 20% of those to be affordable units. And the things that are coming online now, like St. Polycarps, and when we get the Boys and Girls Club and whatever else comes next, I don't know, because SEC will always have something new coming down the pike, that they will be counted in as part of those 20% affordable units.
So, but why is it so important for a city to have this? I mean, is it because it puts us on the map? It makes us
I
look
think
better?
it's
Is there a
important.
certain law?
No, there's no law. I think it's a value that SCC has, that it's really important to take care of the people that have been here, that have watched all of these changes take place, and now they need to benefit from them.
Oh, so it's protecting your own.
Yes, we have to
Protect our own.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Not
what it's
that
all
the
about.
newcomers aren't welcome. They are welcome, but, you know, we want to protect the people who might be forced to go out and live in Lynn or Malden or wherever.
So we want to keep the people here.
That's right.
Because actually it helps Somerville to keep the people here because it helps with the taxes.
Well, it's
And-
it's like these people. These people grew up in Somerville. They know the history of Somerville. Look at how important this history was today.
Because it still means something
Right,
to
it
us
means
today.
something, and
Yeah,
we need these people
me
to
too.
carry on
Yeah.
the traditions of the past.
I mean, I love Somerville. I think it is one of the best cities, the most diverse cities. We have a phenomenal mayor. I'm not going to use the word amazing because that was used so many times with the Oscars. Okay, 101 times, yes. And so we have like the best city in the world. And when I go for walks around the city, I am so happy to see people that have been here for like years. It's like, oh my goodness, this Mrs. Regalino.
I know
Oh my,
her. We
you know
know
Mrs.
her.
Regalino? I'm telling you, I was in the first Explorer group in the United States in the city of Somerville.
Really?
Oh yeah, co-ed. That was the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. All I'm saying is that Somerville is like the first for many things. Didn't we have Whitey Bulger here too at some point? We did. Not to
Well,
bring
I
up
don't know
like-
if
He was visiting.
He was
just visiting
He
for the
was-
day.
But you know, with the Green Line coming, there's going to be lots and lots of changes that take
Yes,
place
right.
in Union Square.
And the assembly. What's
And
going on
Assembly
there?
Square.
I mean,
right?
come on.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
beautiful.
So what's going to be going on in Union Square and how does that involve the SCC since
Well-
this is where your headquarters
Well,
is?
one of the things that we want to do is develop the Boys and Girls Club. And right now, SCC rents their offices up over the health center in Union Square.
Correct,
And
yeah.
they'll be able to move their offices into this building, so they're not paying rent any longer.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, and SCC will develop other housing in the future. And the other thing is not just housing, but jobs. We want jobs for people in Somerville. Good paying jobs that make a livable wage, and that for those jobs to go to residents who currently live in Somerville.
This is good. So
Yeah.
Somerville's protecting its own.
Right, right. We can't drive everybody out. Now that it's such a great and warm and welcoming city, we can't just have the poor people all, you know, shuffle off to someplace else.
Right, then it'll become yuppie.
Right. And it's okay to have a few yuppies here
Yeah,
and
of
there.
course, of course.
But, you know, we don't want a high concentration of them.
Well, we want a little bit of, we want
a little bit of
mix
everything.
everybody.
We want
Sure.
diversity. We want diversity of incomes as well as diversity of nationalities and ethnicities.
Okay, so Ursula, to you, where do you see the future of Somerville going?
Well, I see everybody's getting along beautifully, and it couldn't be any better with all this diversity.
Do you live in Somerville?
No, I don't, but I
Why
lived
not?
here for many years,
Many years,
until I
okay.
got married, yes.
Good. Okay. Carol.
I only hope that the newer residents have the same kind of feeling in life that we did growing up in the city of Somerville. And if you remember, years ago, even though we are older than you girls, okay, it was very diversified. We had Italian, Irish, you name it, and we all got along beautifully. and we were good neighbors, and it was a good neighborhood, no matter where you lived.
And
it
we
was
all
a good
shared
neighborhood.
meatballs
And we
together.
shared. It was a good neighborhood. I mean, every
Right.
part of Somerville was good. There weren't any bad parts of Somerville.
Right.
So I'm hoping that the future of Somerville will remain as we know it.
Camille, the future of Somerville.
I
Where do you
hope
see
so.
it going?
I hope so too. I hope with the diversity and there's just so many fun things to do in Somerville. Restaurants are phenomenal.
Oh, my
All the
goodness.
brand new restaurants. I keep coming back to try different ones.
Such as,
Oh, and Davis Square, the new ones in Davis Square.
give us a name.
God, I forgot. Oh, what are the names?
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I couldn't think of one right now, but yeah, I come by. My daughter still works in Davis Square. One of my oldest daughters, she works on Highland Ave for a tax attorney. She's been there for years, so she keeps coming back. So we all do. We all just keep coming back, and that's why I came back, and that's when I saw the school. That's what started this.
And Louise,
Yes.
where do you see the future going?
I think the future for Somerville is very bright. I really do. It's first of all, its proximity to Boston makes it a great place. And when that green line comes and people are going to be able to get on that green line and get into Boston for good jobs, it's going to be fabulous. And I just think that we're going to bring in more and new interesting people, and there's going to be a lot of new economic development that's going to go on in Somerville.
Which
the
is-
mayor is well, the mayor is very much trying to get businesses in here, like the creative economy, as he calls it. Artists, but also people that are working on things like biotech and things like that. And as you get more and more jobs like that, more and more people are going to want to live here.
And if you had a wish list for Somerville, something that you would like to see that's not here, what would your wish be?
That was here years ago.
Oh, God, no, even a wish for the future. It could have been here, maybe it's gone. What is your...
What came into my mind was the carnival that they had always had.
The carnival.
Before 93, before they had built I-93,
Right.
and before the projects were there, down there on Mystic Avenue.
That's beautiful.
And all the parents participated in it, in the work of it.
So families getting together.
Oh, we all did, yeah.
It's beautiful. Carol, your wish.
My wish is the same. As I said, I want it to be like it was. I would like it to remain so that someday my grandchildren will be proud to say, my grandparents lived in that city. I mean, I grew up here. I got married here. I got married out of St. Polycarps Church. I baptized my children. I want my family and other families to have those memories
Beautiful.
as I have. That's how I feel about it.
Camille?
The same. I think it's the same because we had such a great time growing up in Somerville. And there was many things to do. We had the Ballaroo, we had the
The
drive.
Ballaroo! Oh my goodness, that was awesome!
The Ballaroo, we had the drive-in, we had
The drive-in!
the movies.
Oh my goodness.
That
all the
sounds our age now.
the memories of the drive-in. We won't go there.
Oh, no. We had Foss Park. Remember
And
Foss
Foss
Park?
Park.
We lived in Foss
We had the
Park.
high dive.
We lived
The high
there.
dive. I used to jump off of that all the time.
Well, we didn't
had a lot
have
of
that.
trees.
We had trees and a pond in the center of that park. That's what we had.
But
We
it was
ice
beautiful.
skate. It was beautiful. We ice
course.
skated there. We picnicked in the park. We
You
had.
had picnics in the park?
They had these huge,
Oh.
beautiful trees. Well, we didn't have air conditioning those years.
Sure.
So families spent their time outdoors under a nice shaded tree. And that's what we did. And it
Oh,
was beautiful. And it
beautiful,
was
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, it really was. I have many pictures and memories of that.
So, in your wish for the future, for Somerville?
My wish is that this is a family-friendly city because I think that children need a great place to grow up, and I want the school system, which has improved tremendously, to get even better than it is, and that we have all kinds of great kids in Somerville that grow up to be the leaders of the future.
So taking away everything from tonight with this time capsule and your memories, it appears that we've all lived pretty good lives here in Somerville.
Very fortunate.
And we
Yes, we
probably are living in one of the best cities in the entire world.
It's a very good city.
Do you know that people come here from all over New England to eat? They come to Vinny's.
Imagine
They come to Vinny's.
Right, right.
I mean, he makes the most amazing rice balls. Have you ever had his
I
rice balls?
have, yeah.
Oh my God.
What about Leone's on Broadway?
Oh,
Yeah,
Leone's
it's
there.
been for
Oh, the
years.
pizza there.
They were across the street on Broadway, and then they moved to where they are now in that location. They have been there forever,
They have.
forever. And that man still goes there and makes meatballs. So,
Well, I will say that this has been a wonderful evening with you ladies, and I want to make sure that I have your name. It's Ursula Kozlowski, Lowski, and you don't live in Somerville anymore, but that's okay. And we have Carol Giordano. Your middle name is Lanzoni?
correct.
Lanzoni?
Lanzoni. Thank you.
Lanzoni.
Yes.
Lanzoni, Carol Lanzoni
Giordano,
Giordano,
yes.
and we have Camille Amato Long, all Italians. We grew up in a very, very big Italian city,
We did.
which is great. Was there anything Italian, by the way, in this time capsule?
Nothing
No.
Italian.
No, nothing.
Other than
Wait,
the
wait,
Pope.
wait,
The Pope.
The Pope. Now, tell us a little bit about the Pope and what's going on in our world right now, because this is a big time. Can you hold up the picture of the Pope? Can you get in on that, please? Can you hold it for the camera person? They hold it still, yeah. Hold it up a little higher, yeah. So, if I'm correct, we're going to be electing a new Pope very soon, because Pope
Benedict.
Benedict has resigned, which is
Right.
probably good.
It is.
And our new Pope will probably have an iPhone and an iPad and be twittering.
Be on Twitter.
Be on Twitter and everything else. So this is, and I'm going to be in Italy soon, so I'll probably be there when the Pope
When
is.
they announce the
when
Pope.
the white smoke comes out of the chimney. So, ladies, taking this experience back with you from yesterday, do you want to leave us with any words? What happened yesterday?
Well, I thought it was just great to watch them take those things out of the time capsule. And I remember seeing the pilot newspaper when I was a kid. My father read the pilot, and what he said to me was they had a thing in there about a section about the movies that were good.
Yes.
You remember
You're
that?
right, I do,
Yeah.
I do,
And if it
yeah.
didn't list that movie in the pilot, I
couldn't
couldn't
go.
go see
We
that
couldn't
movie.
Go see it.
Was the Sound of Music in there?
But it brought back a lot of memories for me.
It's true. It's true. I wonder if that paper lists that. The movies in
Yeah,
there.
the
That was
movies. It'd be
in it.
interesting
Yeah.
to see what the movies are.
Camille, take away from something
The
from
same. I
yesterday.
was very excited to see the contents of it. And my family, they saw all the pictures that I had taken, and they're just thrilled.
The pictures that you have from yesterday.
From yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. So, did you find your name in the envelope? Did you see
I
your
did not.
signature?
It's not
Oh,
there.
you didn't. Okay.
Not there.
Okay. Carol, I know you have something wonderful to say about yesterday.
Yesterday was wonderful, and I am so happy to have been a part of it. And I never dreamt that I ever would. Never conceived that moment.
Did you
ever.
feel the spirit of Sister Gia?
And I did. Sister Georgina Therese.
Therese, yeah.
Honestly, I did. I really did.
All
It
right.
was
And
wonderful.
Ursula, what's your takeaway from this wonderful ceremony in our all-America city, Somerville?
Well, yesterday, the adrenaline was just going.
Really?
Everybody was enthusiastic. Everybody that was there, and questions that were being asked. Just
Thank
wonderful.
you.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to thank you, ladies, for
Thank
being
you.
here. SCC, you are tremendous. Thank you so much for what you're doing for our city. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your wonderful experience and just being here.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
So yeah, we could just look at each other and
Other
just
and
talk.
just- Oh,
we can just talk
Well, I was
Chit
glad
chat,
to
yeah.
really meet